Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 14 of LimKopi with Millennials. So this series, right, we will be talking about stagflation versus inflation. So let me bring you through this slide so that you guys could actually know more about stagflation or even inflation. What exactly does both uh, do to us as a millennial? What is our thought in terms of inflation and stagflation? Okay, so just to give just for those that who do not know what is inflation which means that the rate of increase in prices over a given period of time. So for example, right now, okay, back in a few years, um, your normal chicken rice, right, will cost about 250 per plate. As of right now, okay, you can actually see that the chicken rice cost is $4 to even the max I go will be about $7. So this is inflation. And inflation is typically a broad measure by the government to really, ramp up the price to really curb demand. So in summation, this is what inflation is. So what happened next to the Singapore side in terms of inflation? As you can actually see, right? Okay, right now, September, we are really aging towards a 14-year high, which means that in I believe that you guys are familiar with Walla 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 BBQ already. So this is currently what we are facing as. So as we go through the slide, okay, we will be sharing our thoughts, like how are we feeling towards inflation and stagflation, okay, on a later slide. So this is to give you guys a generic information or even like a little market outlook on the years going ahead or even at the present moment. Vince, can you tell us more about stagflation?
Sure. So just run through a bit more into stagflation. So stagflation is, you can call it like an economic cycle that's characterized by slow growth alongside a high unemployment rate with inflation. So in short, stagflation, it means that there is a growing inflation whereby things are getting more and more expensive in the economy and coupled with a slow economic growth. So it's a potent mix of these two factors which causes stagflation. So in this type of scenario, particularly as a policy maker, they will find it hard to actually handle this situation, as if you try to correct one portion, you exhibit the other. So for example, let's say we have a slow economic growth and high inflation, right? So when you want to try to control inflation, you might raise interest rates, right? Because that was slow. When you raise interest rates, the liquidity in the market of money will be lesser, and therefore there's lesser money to chase the goods, and it will slow down inflation. But when you raise interest rates, you actually cause the cost of capital to increase, and this will increase pressure on businesses who are borrowing money to fund their expansion, fund their business. And that's why it's a very we call it a beautiful storm of these two factors for stagflation. As a policy maker, it's really very hard for governments around the world to try to rein in this condition. Yeah, we are not there yet. We may be getting there. So we have to see these few months. Yeah.
So in short, right, what Vince actually mentioned that the Federation Reserve, right, the tools are pretty blunt. So they can only work with one side of the equation. So simply putting it in a layman terms, right? Okay, on the side of this equation will be demand. So as we mentioned just now, the demand, they need to curb the demand. So basically, central bank cannot fix, like right supply chains. So by increasing the interest rate, right, hoping that they could actually slow down the economy enough so that businesses and even household feel the pinch which in theory should translate into slower wage growth and lesser spending and lowering of prices. But right now we are really going towards the peak and off. This is what we have observed, and what we actually think, or what I actually think as a millennial. Because to me right now, okay, I don't know about you guys, maybe later CK can share. For me last time, right, okay, I wouldn't say like back in um 2-3 years ago. I'll just say like even during the COVID period, okay, where I do have only $15 in my pocket, I could actually, right, eat 3 meals a day. But right now, right, with $15, right, I could only eat like lunch and dinner. Might not even have drinks accompanied for one meal. So are we really feeling the heat? I don't know about you guys. How about CK?
Yeah, I
Can you share
think
about it?
I also think like times are tough, especially on families who are in need, especially the low income and yeah. So I think those when they increase interest rate, right, and then the inflation started to ramp up right, over time, ever since COVID, right, it was quite a tough hit. And you can really see people, saying like, oh, chicken rice has gone up to $5. My downstairs have become, $5 and stuff. And like what Chester said, $15, I think a day, sometimes nowadays also cannot afford like 3 meals. Yeah, so you can share in the comments also, and also let us know any questions you have about inflation or stagflation. We will try our best to answer as well.
Yep. So which sum up for the stagflation part. As you guys know, right, inflation increases, low GDP, higher rate of unemployment. All this will be resulted from inflation towards this stagflation. Yep. So most of us are really like, wondering, is it that necessary for the Federal Reserve to raise interest rate to really like, tamp down the inflation? Or who actually suffers more? Is it like the normal class people like us, or even like the higher class, which is rich? Yeah. So many things to ponder, many question marks ahead of us for these uncertainty times. So we will see how we can actually share with you guys on our take in terms of managing inflation, managing our stress level to fend off and to be able to tide through all this for a better future ahead. So if you can actually see, right, all the slides are relatable, full of memes, so that it will not be very dry, very very dull and all. So basically right now I would say it's a little bit messy here and there in terms of the whole economy. So let's just say even if you're investing, let's just say you're not investing, you feel the pinch one way or another by yourself spending the money, or even stocks or your portfolio is losing a bit of quite a portion of your percentage, I would say. So let us ride through this together, and we hope that after this session you guys could actually like take in more insights, and how can we actually float ourselves through this period of tough times. Okay, so right now, right, CK, any of you, like, so what do you think about like inflation or even stagflation to you? I mean, you are in the financial sector, right? Then we do have friends and all, and we actually feel the pinch. But how did you like manage your finances, or what changes did you actually do to really like sort of like fight off inflation, or you don't actually notice it or care about it?
Yeah, I think for me, right, when during COVID, right, when inflation started to ramp up over time, slowly over time, what I did, right, was that I tracked my expenses like really, really in detail. I'll put it in my app. I will track like every single spending. Then I start to realize that wow, month over month, right, it start to increase. Like your daily expenses, your meals, your grocery shopping. And it starts to hurt lah, you know. And then at the same time, I believe those who follow the LimKopi session, right? I always had this goal, right? Saying like, okay, by 30, I must like hit, like for example, 100K, you know, in net worth or liquid net worth. Then since this inflation happened, right? And then since like the stock market that tanks a bit, you know, it starts to hurt my portfolio and my outlook of how fast I can reach that goal. Yeah, it was quite scary. But throughout this period, right, I think it taught me an important lesson is to, you know, to be ready for this type of volatility in the market. And I also start to, you know, since the market is so volatile, right, and we are not really sure what's gonna happen, and I will always, you know, dollar cost average. I'll set up maybe my regular savings plan into like smart portfolio. And over time, I don't really have to worry it long term lah. So most of the time, I'm investing it for long term. Yeah.
Vince, how about you?
Okay, for me, okay, firstly, I feel that inflation itself will affect the lower to middle class population more, because the increases in the prices of food, transport, utilities, all these increases, right, will occupy a larger percentage of their disposable income as compared to the higher income or the rich. Yeah. So I think it's important that we try to have more savings, and try to look for the better deals out there. Maybe now when you go FairPrice, I will always use my link card, my trust card, to get the most discount and the most link points. I also look out for bundle deals or discount promotions. I'm starting to look at that. Yeah. And also, I actually reduce my monthly investment amount because I feel that the market outlook for the next 6 months may not be that good. So I actually reduce my monthly RSP by half, and also increase my savings. Yeah. So I'm actually building up a small war chest to be ready for the perfect storm. Yeah.
So we won't actually know whether there is a perfect storm or will there ever be a perfect storm, because right now everyone thinks that we are actually heading towards a big economic crash. So sad to say, or even like, I wouldn't be surprised to say that, during the times of like this, right, the market goes the other ways unexpectedly. Okay, so as for myself, right, so what I usually do, right, okay, since if you have been observing LimKopi with Millennial series, okay, taking reference from the first episode, you can see that, I did lose a bit of weight. Yep. But not because I work out aggressively and all, but because of like, I do like, intermittent fasting. So actually, right, 2 meals a day, which if so for right now, right, I take 2 meals a day, right, I still use the $15 sparingly, which means that, a day I still use $15. There's no change in the usage of my money, but I do feel it. So this is one of the changes that I've actually did for myself in order to fend off inflation. And apart from it, intermittent fasting do give me a good benefit lah. So apart from that, right, I'm still in investing, okay, but as what Vince mentioned, okay, yes, I do also keep a portion of my savings up, because I'm betting on, like a crash or even a mini crash, I would be able to, deploy my war chest. But another thing that I did differently is right now, as you guys knows that, right now, inflation and all right, rising interest rate, there's a few, money market funds that, I could actually put my money in to enjoy the liquidity. So I actually put some of my money in Smart Park, while waiting for my next investment opportunity, my idle cash actually is gaining some returns over time. So am I hedging on inflation again? I believe so. But do it really helps, or would it really make any difference? Yes, you can actually view the returns on a daily basis. You can actually see your money grow there. And the best part is to really deploy the funds when you need the money for your future plannings or even your investment opportunities. And this is what I did lah. So am I scared of inflation or even stagflation? Yes, because we to us, right, because we are just we are, I would say, normal class working adults. Everything were to be ramped up, right? What happened next for the renovation or even wedding. So all this, right? We are still getting a hang of it. Okay, we talk to our friends. I talk to my friends, share the troubles, or even my portfolio tank. I think more or less, right, that everyone is in this economy right now, and I would say that sharing your troubles or even a bit of your problems, right, will actually make you feel better. So everyone could actually tide through this whole journey, not by ourselves, but together. So we were talking about the groceries. We are talking about everything under the sun. Basically, all the services and all, we actually feel the pinch lah. So each of us can actually give us one example, right? Like what shocked you in terms of the rise in the price. For me, right? Okay, just now I took reference from chicken rice, right? Whenever I go NTUC right now, right, just a 300 gram of chicken breast, right, cost me $2 plus, like last year only, but right now it's just $4. So I'm pretty shocked. I'm pretty shocked. So CK,
Yeah, I got one actually. Like my favorite snack, right, is dim sum siu mai lah. So every time, right, I will go downstairs and buy my siu mai. So they are dim sum shop, so they sell like siu mai individually. So last time it used to be 50 cents, but now it risen to 90 cents already. So it was quite a big shop, and it was quite scary. At that point of time, I'm like, oh no, my favorite snack. Yeah, so that's a big shock to me. Yeah.
Vince.
Yeah. So for me, I actually sometimes I like to eat the black pepper bowl at Amoy food center. So last time, the black pepper bowl, one don, right? It's about $5. Now you'll guess the price now. A black pepper pork bowl. Yeah. You'll guess the price.
$8.
$8. Okay. $7. Okay. Close. It's $6.50.
Not that
Yeah.
bad lah. Not that bad lah.
Not that bad lah. I mean, considering now it's okay lah. Yeah. We have to be used to it lah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would actually say, right, that right now, right, it is really increasing steadily. From my normal coffee, right, okay, right now, the most expensive coffee, right, that I get from a market, right, is 180 without ice. It's a kopi o kosong, which means coffee black, no sugar. 180.
Wow.
Top up a bit more, right?
Quite
Starbucks.
painful. Yeah.
Yes. So
180 for kopi.
yes. Yep.
Wow.
One Sims Lane.
Wow. That's
The
almost
market.
Yakun price
Yep.
already. Yakun is $2.
Yes.
Wow.
So I mean, the storm is coming. We all know it. Okay, inflation. Just now, like the Mimi said, we can feel it, but we wouldn't know when it is coming lah. Basically, it has already begun. So
Yeah.
we are just bracing the storm. Okay,
Yeah.
so just now as I was sharing, right, how can one help fight inflation, right? Okay, it will be our smart park. So do not let the idle cash grow. Use smart park for your idle cash to grow while you await for some returns. So it can be opening an account. Clients like yourself have an account with us that actually utilize Smart Park. They could actually pay for your investment, your stock and shares, while gaining returns over time. So let's just say if you have any emergency use for this money, you can actually just withdraw out. There's no liquidity, there's no lock-in also. So I believe a lot of us here, we know that right now the market is pretty hot in terms of their cash solution program, or even, the fixed D rates are pretty high right now. So just like always, we will always do diversification in terms of some portion to fixed deposit. Your rainy day funds can be in Smart Park. So this is what we want to share with you guys. This is one of the tools to actually help to fight off inflation. Apart from having this tool to fight off inflation, do talk to your friends, your family about it. If you're feeling stressed, if you are, feeling a bit, fidgety, or even on the edge, I mean, this is how we actually take care of our mental health. Do exercise regularly also. So, Vince, do you actually, like, how do you actually curb your emotion or even stress during these difficult times? I believe we are going into it already. Just that, no one is knowing unknowingly. I mean,
Yeah, I think the mental support of your friends, your family, it's important. It's good to talk about what all the troubles you're facing. Especially your portfolio is down, everybody's facing the same thing. We form this camaraderie lah. So we kind of support each other, to be invested for the long term. It helps lah, honestly. I feel much better after talking about my investment portfolio with my clients as well. Yeah. And I think now how to cope with rising costs and basic needs, right? It's really about reducing your wants. So like last time, maybe you can, have a, let's say a jumbo meal, for example, you have crabs or this. Maybe you want to cut back on the trips, amount of trips. Maybe you want to cut back and save on this, and then focus on the basic needs, things that your family will need every month. These are things like transport, utilities, food and beverage, medicine, all this. All these are monthly expenses that you incur on a monthly basis, no matter what, you'll be deducted. So we need to make sure this basic is met first, and then we have some extra savings so that we feel that we are more comforted. We got this amount to tide through. It's less worrying for you on a mental level. Yeah. So we make sure we can set those first things first. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my take on it. Yeah. How about you, CK?
Yeah, I think I started to find like alternative. If there is like an alternative to more expensive stuff, right, then I'll go for it. Since the cost right now, right, is so expensive, everything is so expensive, right? If I can, like for example, if I look on this shirt, right, that I really like, and it's pretty expensive, then I'll find like an alternative that maybe from Taobao, from Shopee, to see and match that, And then at the same time, on the topic of like mental wellness, right? Since the stock market is down and it's a hit to the portfolio, no doubt. And my friends started to say like, what should we do? How can we, tie this through together? They started to say like, okay, maybe we should DCA, dollar cost average, and do like a regular savings plan. Yeah, basically. Or not just put it inside Smart Park, those cash solution products, right, that can at least, maintain your lifestyle. Yeah.
Yep. So we do have some questions on the floor. So let me check. So the first question is, rising interest rate does not reduce wage growth. But basically, rising interest rate can actually slow down the economy enough that the business and household really feel the pain. Because rising interest rate which leads to a lot of stuff also. But okay, all these comment and all right is more towards our millennials views also lah. So there's QT, quantitative tightening by our currency and all. So in the long run, right, the export business will really like, feel the pinch also. So it actually will be slower wage growth in terms of, the advancement of the company, because everything is more expensive while the interest rate rise, because everything goes up, but the amount of things that you actually sell to A and B, right, is still the same. Okay, so another question, right, is like, from an anonymous attendee, how to actually, cope with rising costs, especially on basic needs. Unemployment rate is still very high. So just now CK did mention that, they do have cheaper alternative, like, go to Shopee, go to, like Lazada. Other than that, right, we can actually look for group buys. Okay, we can actually dine in instead of dine out. So right now, right, I mean, I do feel the pinch, but what adjustment can I actually make to myself to actually save the same amount of money is to really, like, eat lesser, like, outside, but do my own cooking at home, so I could actually save up a bit there. So with a little bit of savings in my food consumption, reduce some spending over there, and maybe, for example, right, your phone bills, you can actually, like, refinance your phone bill to other telco, so that, you reduce your cost. So all these little things add up to more savings, and to utilize more savings, other investment option right now, because to me, holding idle cash, we are losing money through inflation. So what I did was to park in some cash solution, which is smart park, while waiting for my next investment opportunity. Then I will be able to gain some opportunities in terms of my returns. I win both sides. So this is one of the very few ways that, I could actually think of, and what I am doing right now to fight off inflation. But that doesn't mean that, I'm fighting inflation thoroughly. I don't feel the pinch. I guess we all actually feel the pinch too. Am I right, guys? Yep. Is see how we actually is to see how we actually manage one's comfort level in terms of, having all this being brought to you on a silver platter lah. Yep.
I also want to highlight the importance of dividends in this climate, because dividends, some of them are paid out monthly, quarterly, so they help you to defray your your expenses now, and they're paid out of the company's profit. So compared to if you're investing for companies like in capital growth, you receive lesser or no dividends. You're willing to hold through this period, but you invest in quality companies with consistent dividend payout, are actually able to help you defray some of this rising inflation, because they give you the cash and you can use it to offset your expenses or the rising costs. So dividends are also a very important key in this fighting inflation partner as part of your investment portfolio. So it's important to also not ignore this part as well.
Okay, last question for Vince, because you are the relationship manager. In the chat, there is a question on, are T-bills good?
Right. So good question. I think T-bills are very popular now because they're issued by the Singapore government, so it's almost risk-free, and the rates are going up as well each month. The latest one that just closed was for 6 months. T-bill is around 4.19%. So that's a very decent yield for the parking for 6 months. So it's good to actually go for it now. But one thing you'll face is that after the maturity of 6 months, you'll face the reinvestment risk. So maybe if interest rates is not so high after 6 months, you have to actually invest in other stuff with a lower rate. So it may not be suitable for everyone. So do consider carefully before you invest in any options.
Yep. Right now, we have come to the end of our LimKopi with Millennials. So I do hope that you guys would support us again. We welcome you to our next month topic also. Yep, we are having this LimKopi webinar every month on a Thursday. So you guys could actually come and support us or even to hear what we actually think of the current situation that is happening, or even other exciting topics to talk about. So you won't know what topics we are going to do next, but we will keep you informed on our Poyam's website. So let us go for our dinner, guys. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
tuning in. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good dinner.